Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles, my friends. I hope the day finds you well because we have gathered for another historical opening. This time, it's the Kamigawa Neon Dynasty Welcome Booster. Now, this is a very particular niche product that was created for local game stores to give out to people who are new to the game of Magic. The idea being that it will introduce them not only to the new set, but also other concepts that Wizards of the Coast would like new players to be aware of. Now, when you take a look at the artwork here, you can see we've got an Oni samurai. There's this smoke emanating from his face. You've got these symbols sort of glowing off of his helmet. And right here, you can actually see the Planeswalker symbol, this symbol right here, is actually melded right there into the helmet as well. And on the back, you'll see there's a request for information in terms of your thoughts about the game, and then some hashtags and other regular information. But it is a nice looking package. Now, let us dive in. I'm very curious to see what is in this particular iteration because they do change what is in these packs with every particular version they do, all right? So, let us see what we're starting out with. You have a card that says, "Welcome to the world of Magic." Here are some cards to help you get started. And we will find that there will be a number of these cards in between everything, kind of to help as guideposts as we go along, which really is a good idea instead of just throwing a booster pack full of cards at people, right? So on the other side of this, we have make new friends every Friday night. Your local game store has Magic events every Friday. And it says, find their schedule at FridayNightMagic.com. Now, I have to say, I'm a huge fan of the fact that this is starting out by promoting paper Magic, right? The LGSs are the ones handing out these intro packs, so they should be the ones benefiting from it when players go, you know what, I want to get in. And I feel like in the past, Wizards used to lean more towards trying to push Arena first, and this is very pleasing to see. Now, let us move on. The next thing we have is join the Magic community. This says, talk with your local store about your first purchase. They'll help you get started no matter how much you want to play. Again, even if they didn't flip this over and see the other side, we're going to see a situation where they're pushing paper first. And for me, that is a big yes, because I love local game stores. Now, it says right here, we've got we've got Fibblethip and this dude just looking at him. What a random choice. I love it. I actually have a Fibblethip plushie. Now, on the other side of this, we have, there's no wrong way to play. Have fun and play with a group in Commander. Play with the newest cards in Standard, and open boosters and play a new deck each time in Booster Draft. And I feel like the way that they're actually listed on this card do somewhat indicate the priorities of Wizards of the Coast, and also an acknowledgement as well of what people are genuinely interested in. Because of the things listed here, these formats, Commander is far and away the most popular of these, right? So it does make sense. And it's great that it starts with have fun playing with a group, right? Like, this is well done. Moving on, we've got our first actual Magic card, which is a view of the world. This is a Kamigawa Forest. I don't know if I've seen this one, but it looks really nice with the foiling. Look at the way the path is glowing here. And it doesn't really feel too super high tech, but you do have the little sort of temple light going on down here as well. I don't know how well that's being picked up, but it does look quite striking. And admittedly, shiny cards like this, it just feels good, right? There's the magpie part of our brains that goes, oh, I want to have that shiny treasure. And as well, I'm a huge fan of green, and a lot of beginners like playing green. So starting out with a foil forest is actually a pretty smart move. Then we've got, oh yeah, look, okay, yeah, they know what they're doing. Look, Spirited Companion is such a fun card, right? 1 white and 1 for a 1/1 enchantment creature dog. So it's pretty straightforward. You've got a dog that is also somehow an enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, you draw a card, and it says she formed a friendship with several playful spirits, and soon the pack was known as a source of much mischief in Agonjo. It's really hard not to love this as a card concept, right? You've got the playful dog here that's running along with these spirits. You've got it just romping down a city street. It's just got such a playful, like, I've got a present for my master, like, this is your dog, and he comes bounding up to you, and maybe because he's an enchantment dog, he can just slide through walls or whatever's going on, but he just keeps showing up with useful stuff. Like, this just feels great, right? And it's interesting that this used to be a green card overall. If you turn this into an elf, this is what you would have seen in green for the longest time. I mean, aside from the enchantment creature part, but definitely a good choice in terms of showing the melding of the spirit world and the regular world as well, right? By kind of going, okay, the dog is from the real world, the spirits are from the spirit world, and together they roam around causing trouble, but in the way where you'd watch an animated movie about it. It is a very inviting card. Then we've got Futurist Sentinel. So obviously this is going to be an introduction to the mech concepts of Kamigawa, as well overall as the idea of vehicles. It's pretty straightforward, right? 1 blue and 3 is getting you a 6/6 vehicle with crew 3. So you can tap creatures that have power 3 to get it up and running. The flavor text says, I folded a model in paper first to test the relative tensile strength of the plates. And that's from... what is that name? Sorry, Katsumasa the Animator. That is actually a really cool concept in terms of mech design. The idea that you would make an origami version, essentially, of one of these to test the strength of it is just such, I don't know, it's the contrast of the fragility of paper versus the strength of a giant hulking vehicle that really works overall pretty well for me. So this obviously gives the concept that you are going to see gigantic mechs you can climb up inside of in the world of Kamigawa. And the mech certainly does have an imposing presence in comparison to these sort of diminutive figures in the foreground, right? After that, we've got Commander Sphere. This is not too big a surprise to see inside this pack, considering we saw that they were emphasizing commander play. And this is something we've seen in a number of these packs. And if you want to actually contrast the contents of this pack to previous ones, I'll put links to some of the previous ones at the end of this video. So Commander Sphere is a pretty solid choice, right? I mean, you're getting a 3 casting cost artifact that gives you a mana of any color that you can sack to draw a card. So this is going to fit into anybody's commander deck. And if they don't already have it, then they're going to go, oh, sweet. You know what? Like, it is very evident right away why it is useful. I mean, it gives you mana of any color and lets you draw the card, right? So if you don't need the mana, you know you can sack it. This isn't some sort of subtle, you've got to figure out what's good about a card and learn a lot about Magic. It's straightforward. All right, you know what? This is an orb that's attuned to my commander, and I can get rid of it for knowledge. So the artwork shows a literal sphere here with some sort of magical energy ensconced inside of it, and it's kind of a neat idea. You grab this orb and you can draw some of the mana out of it, and you can do that, but it needs time to recharge itself, like it's drawing more mana from surrounding areas into itself. But if you want, you can just use all of the magical energy that's inside here, just kind of tear it open, the energy flows out and up into your mind, and boom, you get to draw a card in a burst of knowledge. So that is a cool concept, right? Next, we've got Assassin's Ink. Very colorful. Look, I do love colorful things. 2 black and 2 for an instant. That costs 1 less to cast if you have an artifact, and 1 less to cast if you control an enchantment, destroy target creature, or planeswalker. So it's probably going to come together for some people when they look at this that, oh, wait a minute, you know what? I've seen a mech, that's an artifact. I've got that dog creature, that's an enchantment. So they're going to see the artifact and enchantment theme tied together in this card, which is pretty solid, right? And then you've got such an insane way of destroying a creature or a planeswalker. The flavor text says, a Reckoner always has another trick up their sleeve, or as their sleeve, right? And the Reckoners are an ancient organization that go all the way back to the original Kamigawa that were created by, who was it? It was originally Toshiro along with Hidasugu, right? So there was a number of individuals. But anyways, they have a pact where they all avenge each other, and they're a massive criminal organization. So having tattoos that can jump off your body and take somebody out is actually really useful. It is such a weird way to go, though, in terms of it doesn't look threatening. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you were there and it was happening, you'd be like, whoa, that was absolutely intense and terrifying. But when you look at the artwork, I don't know, there's just something about the colorful shapes. It gives it almost a childish party nature. The tattoos coming off the back of the assassin also almost look like little wave them in the air if you just don't care arms, you know? So I know this artwork is supposed to be very dark and menacing, and the concept is, when I think about it from a flavor perspective, but the art itself is just, I don't know, it's like silly confetti fun times for me. I like it either way, but it doesn't give me that dark menace, but it definitely does transmit a number of concepts about Kamigawa, as well as giving little hints about the lore, like who are the Reckoners, right? After that, we've got a Dokuchi Shadow Watcher. So this is 2 black and 4, 5/5 Ogre Ninja with ninjutsu. So this is an introduction to your idea of Kamigawa having things like ninjas. Don't fear the blade, fear the shadows. And you can see that you've got your Ogre Ninja there, and he's up on the wall in the darkness or leaping down or whatever. I'm never 100% sure with this particular artwork exactly what's going on, but you can tell you've got a ninja. He's got a big old crazy like glass neon blade. How does this work? What is this made out of? Is this some kind of like techno blade, or is this enchanted glass? It's pretty funky looking, but ultimately this will show people, oh, okay, I can use ninjutsu as a combat trick. What? Oh, dude, they put a Tamio in here? Okay, wow, nice. This is nice on a number of levels. First of all, it feels good to get a solid rare in a pack, right? You're going to have noticed the previous cards that we saw had your common or uncommon symbols. This is your first taste of getting that like delicious gold rare feeling. On top of that, this is Tamio, right? And Tamio features in the story of Kamigawa, and this is Tamio before the Phyrexians got to her. This is the last time we saw her before she got completed. So there's a note of tragedy, and somebody who's new to the game may not know Tamio's been completed. So they get this first, and they see it and like, oh, this is a really neat card. Look at all the stuff it does. Spells and abilities your opponents control can't cause you to discard cards or sacrifice permanents, and you get to choose a card and look in your deck for it, and then you also get to bring cards back from your graveyard to your hand. Like, wow, this seems really neat. And then they find out, oh, the Phyrexians have taken her over, and now she's part of, wait, who are the Phyrexians? Oh, they're these big bad guys, and they've taken over her mind and completed her with their Phyrexian evilness? That is so cool. Like, dude, this is an awesome choice to include in the welcome booster on multiple levels. And that artwork looks great too. So this also, if I'm not mistaken, let me just double check here. Yep. This is also the first time you're introduced to the concept of a multicolored card, right? Up until now, everything we've seen has been single colored. Now you're like, oh, wait, okay, there are gold cards. Now, obviously, this is assuming somebody who has a very limited knowledge of the game overall. But either way, it is nice to see all the information that can be gleaned from it. And Tamio being included is a really nice choice. Then we've got, we've got Meet Kaito. Interesting. It's interesting to introduce us to a Planeswalker after we've seen a Planeswalker. So, Kaito Shizuki is a master ninja, oh, come on, focus, who augments his skills as an infiltrator with innate telekinetic powers. All right, and then you can see clearly we've got Kaito. Look at that sword. That is a pretty crazy blade right there. And then on the other side, we've got unafraid to take risks, break the rules, or flout authority with a wisecracking smile. He pursues a personal agenda of progress on his home plane of Kamigawa, determined to make the world a better place for himself and his family. There's just something about this artwork that makes me get Merfolk vibes. I mean, it's just his like techno armor, but I think of Merfolk. Oh, there's his little Tanuki buddy. All right, so you get to see right here, it says read Kaito's story at mtgstory.com. So if you want to know more about this, you're given the opportunity and informed that there is a place for more magical lore. That's not too shabby at all. Oh, what, dude? Jugen? Hold on, let me move these cards off here. I think they're messing with the focus. There's a Jugen in here too. Wow, that's really cool. Jugen is 3 green and 3 for a 5/5 flying dragon spirit. And when he dies, you get to put 5+1/+1 counters on a number of target creatures. So this thing is just a really feel-good card on a number of levels. Green doesn't have a lot of flyers. He's a big, beefy flyer. When he gets taken out, you get to beefcake your other guys. It's just all good. The artwork looks awesome, and Jugen ties into the Kamigawa story because Jugen ends up, she goes ahead and basically causes the resurrection of all of the Kamigawa dragons again, but this time aligned with the new essence of the world of Kamigawa. So this is another one where you can be impressed by it when you first see it, and then later on when you learn more about Kamigawa, you can go, oh, wait a minute, that ties into that Jugen. That's so cool. So that is a nice include. What do we got after? What? Another? Wow. Okay, another rare. Wizards of the Coast packed this one. Honestly, I didn't expect this much goodness. This is a random include. Archon of Sun's Grace from the newest Theros set. 2 white and 2 for a 3/4 flyer with lifelink. Pegasus creatures you control have lifelink. And Constellation, whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield, under your control, you make a 2/2 Pegasus token with flying. So this basically means it's cranking out 2/2 flying lifelink tokens as long as it sticks on the board. So it's interesting that they just chose to include a rare that's not in standard. I'm not 100% sure what this was included for, aside from maybe the fact that it has just really good, like, awe factor for a beginner. If you look at it and go, wait a minute, for 4 mana I get a 3/4 flyer with lifelink that also makes any Pegasus creatures I have, because I have other Pegasus cards, they get lifelink, and it makes Pegasus tokens. Wow, this thing is crazy. Like, it definitely has the right vibe for beginners to enjoy. The artwork is a lot of fun too, with the flying Archon leading his squad of Pegasi. Yes, man, that is great. All right, what do we have after that? We have Peerless Samurai. Now this shows off one of the showcase styles that they have for the Kamigawa set. Now, my camera apparently really doesn't like it. There we go. Peerless Samurai. 1 red and 2 for a 2/3 human samurai. He's got Menace. Whenever a samurai or warrior you control attacks alone, the next spell you cast this turn costs 1 less to cast. So this brings across the concept that samurais in this are the lone samurai, both from the Peerless concept, where it's like, there's nobody on my level, and the whole, whenever a samurai swings in by himself, he gets this kind of a bonus. On top of that, it's got the Menace vibe, where it's like, are you even going to try and step to me? I mean, ultimately, it's not a super exciting card from a power standpoint, but as a noob looking at it, you'd be like, okay, you know what? This looks really cool. The artwork is pretty intimidating. This is just some human samurai who just scares other people, and the frame is very striking and different, right? So it's a good way to illustrate that you can get a number of different frames. And then we have a arena code. This will get you a arena deck. So the first one to load up Arena while looking at this code will be the one to get it. Enjoy! Thanks for coming by, my friends. I will leave links to previous welcome pack openings that I've done, as well as the playlist of historic openings. Thanks for coming by. Let me know your thoughts. Big shout out to all my patrons.